introduction though. So, all right, you guys, listen, we're in for a treat tonight. This is Taproot Tuesday, subtitled, How Do I Share This? And so the emphasis for tonight is how do we leverage our existing organizations to continue sharing the hope that comes along with an invite to participate in Avoria Prime, whether that be as a customer or an affiliate. How do we share this? How do we keep moving our business forward? And tonight we get to learn from literally one of the best, not just because of what he did once upon a time, but because of what he's doing right now. This guy's got the early stages of momentum starting to set in. He's had me on some of the most epic Zoom calls with phenomenal people. We've all heard about the idea of recruiting up. You're going to probably hear a little bit about that tonight because Al is sifting and sorting like a master. He's working depth. He is recruiting up big time. I mean, my goodness, the caliber of people that that he's interacting with is nothing short of awe-inspiring. And so this is my great friend, leader extraordinaire, man who walks the talk, who's getting it done, none other than Mr. Al Franklin. Al, take it away, my brother.
All right, thanks, Ryan. We're going to get right started here, guys, because we don't have much time here, and I got a lot to cover here. But thanks for the introduction. Get right to it. I'm not going to hold back, but I'm just going to tell it like it is. Okay, so we're going to talk about sharing. I'm going to kind of go share with you guys what I do as far as building the business. I've got people coming in on a daily basis now. We've got some 7-figure, 8-figure people coming in the pipeline also in each of my teams, by the way. So we're going to get into some nitty gritty about that. But first and foremost is this. Hopefully you guys have your pad and pen, okay? Understand that when I do calls or when other people are doing calls, I take notes on every single call. Doesn't matter if it's a sal update, if it's a Veterol, if it's Hearn and Lawless, I don't care who it is. Even someone at a lower rank that has something to say, I take notes here. So I keep my journal here. I've always learned, you know, you can always learn something from someone, even if they're a lower rank or someone even starting. There's always education, and I always feed on that. So hopefully you're taking good notes here. Let's talk in terms about number one. Okay, we've all heard it. You want to make a list, right? That's the first thing you're going to do. Make a list of all the people you know. And like Ryan has alluded for years, most people have thousands and maybe not thousands, but hundreds and hundreds of people in their phone. So here's the deal. I'm an old-fashioned kind of guy, the way I build, and it works for me. I do nothing with social media, absolutely nothing. I don't go to Facebook. Everything I do is belly to belly. However, now with our new business model, it's Zoom call to Zoom call. So we're going to talk in terms of old-fashioned, something that works for me, can work for anybody here listening here. Number one, making a list. As you start to think of people, and I start from A and go all the way to Z in my phone, I will, number one, think about this. You want to make a list of anybody you know, if you know anyone that has been in the networking marketing industry. And I know there's a lot of people probably listening right now that have never done network marketing, and that's okay. No big deal. But those of you that have, or those of you that may not have, but know someone that have, you want to put those as number one. Because this is an affiliate call. This is not for customers. This is for building. And so my priority for me was to go through all my people and discern who have I known in the past that has done network marketing, whether they just got in as a customer with the previous company I was with. Actually, I haven't brought anyone but 2 people from my previous company. So I have not filtrated into my other company where Ryan and Jolene and I were involved with a few years ago. I haven't even gone back into them. I started fresh. I only brought 2 friends of mine over, and they weren't really builders. So again, for those of you that are new, don't worry if you don't know anyone. It doesn't really matter. That's number one. A list of anybody that you've ever known in the industry. That's number one, because that's going to be your priority person to go after first, in my book. Secondly, will be your friends, of course. We all have friends, okay? I don't really go after family because family is the hardest to work with, and I don't really want to deal with the grief and all that. So I don't really deal with my family. The only person that's involved with me right now is my youngest daughter, Devin, who's 24. Third, everybody has some kind of vocation or job or career or business that they're involved with probably right now or have been involved with. That'll be my third. So if you have a landscaping business, you probably know other people in your industry, right? If you have a nutrition store, you probably know other people that own nutrition stores. Whatever business you're involved with, whatever career you're involved with, That'll be third for me, because now you have something of common. There's commonality there. You know exactly, like one of my friends here listening, he's got a limousine business. And I told Scott, I said, Scott, you've been in the limousine business for many, many years. You know exactly what these guys earn. You know exactly what their overhead is, exactly what they're up against 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's crazy business. So with Scott, I would recommend he go after and talk, pick up the phone and start dialing for anybody he knows in the industry that's a limousine owner, because he can talk their language. It should be a very easy conversation. So that's first. Secondly is this, you certainly don't want people to fall through the cracks. I mean, if you initiate an approach to someone, you go through the course of putting them on a Zoom call, going through all that, why in the world would you not want to follow up with them properly? You have to. That's just the way it is. Okay, so let me move on here. Okay, talked about that. Approaches. Okay, so when I get someone started, okay, like I've got a guy I brought in last week. He's a financial advisor. Another one this Saturday I brought in, and then on Sunday we had 3 more come in my organization. And I'm going to kind of share that it's okay to take your business serious here, okay? And I'm going to kind of share what I mean by that as you're working with your team here. So let's say, you know, I've already invited someone in, and I'll kind of share some scripts. Keep in mind that Ryan and Jolene have put a lot of effort along with their teammates, you know, into putting together our wonderful welcome on board here, right? This is what it is. I made a copy of it, black and white here from my printer, but you're all aware of who we are. We're TradeWise, our community here. And now we've got the blueprint here to get someone started, right, on their software, sign up. So before they even sign up, before my guys this week and last week even signed up, first thing I did was let them know I'm going to email them this so they can go ahead and print it out, right? And that's the first thing before they even sign up. I'm going to walk them through this. This was taught just the other day by Jolene, by the way. Walk them through it and let them know, put my information here, my second support upline, which would be Ryan and Jolene. And it doesn't matter where you're at in the business here, in the genealogy. Most of you, if you're on my team, you're not lower than 10 levels. I'm only about 10 levels deep in any one of my organizations. That's it, because we're so new with this. That'll change over time. In time, it'll be hundreds of levels, but for now, it's very easy to manage. It's only about 10 levels deep on my deepest lake here. So if you're down on the 10th level and you're new to this, and the person that brought you in isn't aware of this, then you need to go ahead and find out who your upline 600 is, or 1500, or even 3000, or your global director, Ryan and Jolene, and make sure they go in here as well. It's very important. That's so important that they know they have a support, okay? People that will be there to answer the call or an email and so forth. And I let them go, and they can go ahead and walk themselves through the definitions. And then I tell them, okay, so we're going to get you signed up, but before we do that, we're going to take you through, I'm going to walk them through this on page 5 here, the Avoria Prime back office, okay? So they get plugged in and who their broker is. And you guys have been through all this, right? So you understand. So the first part is that I email them, let them know, please have this document. If you can't, then that's fine. You can just download it on your computer. That's fine. But have a sheet of paper so you can write this information down. And I get them signed up. And the first thing I do is to let them put a list together, right? As an example, I'm working with some teammates, and I'm going to bring them on a little later here. They're on my, I think, 7th, 8th, 9th level that I'm working depth here. I'll kind of share that in a minute. But the point is that these new people I'm bringing in, or they're signing up underneath other people in my organization, I go through the same thing with them. I'm going to kind of go over that in a minute here. So it's not just the people that I'm personally bringing in. It's also the people on my lower levels. I actually take the initiative and go down deep, which I'm going to share here on the board, and I work with them as well, okay? I want to make sure that everybody's coming in and doing it correctly, okay? Because you can't expect someone that's not been in this industry, has not really built anything like this, to go ahead and get someone started. That's crazy. It's like giving your 16-year-old the keys to your car after they got their license, and then having them teach their brother or sister who's 15 years old how to drive. It's crazy. It's ludicrous. Why would you do such a thing like that? So I'm going to kind of talk to you about that. Let's see here. So we talked about the welcome kit. Everybody's familiar with that. and also to get them plugged into Telegram, you know, the channels, we talked about that, make sure everybody's on the same page there. And then they will schedule a Zoom call. And basically, I make sure that when they're talking to someone, as soon as they're talking to someone and approaching them on the phone, that if the person they're talking to indicates any interest, then immediately they've got to have their calendar, okay? You always have to work off your calendar, okay? I've got a week at a glance. And they got to have their calendar there and immediately set up a Zoom call, okay? And I don't care what day or time, just set it up. So what happens with most people is that they'll procrastinate, or they'll say, okay, yeah, you're interested? Okay, great. Okay, well, check your calendar and let's set up a Zoom call sometime. It'll never happen. Or if it does, it may take another month, all right? So here's what you want to do. If I'm talking to someone and they indicate there's an interest at all, yeah, Al, that'd be of interest. Yeah, okay, that'd be kind of interesting. I'd say, okay, hey, okay, George, so look today is Cinco de Mayo, the 5th, and here's what I do, and you can do what you want, but here's what works for me. Now, it's at the end of the day here, so I'd say, okay, look at George, I want to respect your time because you're a busy guy, so rather than play cat and mouse, let's just set it up right now. I've got Wednesday between this time, or Wednesday afternoon, or Thursday afternoon. What looks better? If you give someone an option, they usually will make a decision on that, okay? So you don't want to be just pie in the sky and say, well, what's good for you this week? Never do that. You want to control the environment. You want to control the conversation. Well, Al, why don't you send me a link? You know, I'd like to check this out. Just send me a link. No, that's not the way it works. The way we share this to get the best benefit from what I want to share is through a Zoom call. That's the way we do it. So let's just look at your calendar and set something up right now. Because invariably, most people are going to say, well, why don't you send me a link? You got something you can email me, Al. No, you won't understand it if I send it to you anyway. And I won't even do business with them if they're not willing to get on a Zoom call. Or if they really give me a hard time, which is rare, I'll just say, look, obviously it's not the right timing. You're not interested in looking at a way to make residual income or a couple percent on a weekly basis, compounded. Maybe it's not the timing. Why don't I get back with you in about 6 months? And I'll do that. I'll just blow them off for 6 months, okay? Oh, well, no, why don't, okay, I'll maybe a couple weeks, hit me up in 2-3 weeks, okay? So, because I know I don't really need them in my business. I don't need them. I got over 100 people on my prospect list. I can't even get to them right now. I've got 125 people on my team right now, and I've got several, which I'm gonna outline here, that I'm working with right now. I don't really need them. It's gonna grow with or without them. I'm giving them an opportunity. And here's another thing. Before you get on a call to anyone, I don't care who you're approaching, you got to have that mindset, just like Sal Leto has talked about on the 8-figure calls. It's such a brilliant man. I mean, you got to have the mindset that basically you've got something of value here, okay? And when you come off with that posture, they're going to recognize that through the way you speak on the phone. That's just the way it is. If you come off very quick, I mean, very meek, and say, well, yeah, hey, George, this is Al. Hey, how you been? Get the small talk all the way. Yeah, listen, there's a software program that I'm involved with. It's kind of cool, you know, allows me to make some trades, you know, and I can make some money in the Forex market. And I thought you might want to see something like this. You know, it might be something you might want to do, you know. What do you think? You know, you think we can get together in a Zoom call? There's no horsepower. There's no excitement there. I get on the phone. I'm in a hurry, purposely. Even though I'm sitting at my desk or standing. Hey, Ryan, this is Al. Get the small talk away. Hey, listen, I don't have a lot of time right now, but Ryan, I run across something that's going to change my life financially, and I thought of you. And can we just carve out 30 minutes? It has to do with the Forex market. There's an artificial intelligence software that's been created, and it's blowing me away. And there's over 7,000 happy customers right now worldwide. Just want you to see what I see in this. You have an interest, great. If not, no harm, no foul. What do you think? Can we set something up? I talk quick. They'll respond. They know, number one, you're serious. Number two, you're excited about something, and people make decisions by coming off that way. Okay. So now, so we went through. Okay. So now we get someone started. They already got signed up. We get them set up on their software. I spend no time setting people up on software. Alan Delaney and Ryan know that, or Hernan. I haven't never set anyone up on the software, not even myself. I have other people to do that for me because I'd rather spend my time dialing other people. It's just a waste of my time. Some of you might like that, and that's great, but I don't want anything to do with that. I can probably do it. It'd probably take me 45 minutes, maybe an hour, because I'm not very savvy with that. But now with the new kit, it's a lot easier to walk them through. And so we have resources, of course, that are on the calendar now. We can send people there and they get set up really quickly. Or on my team, my 3 guys at the top are pretty savvy with that, and I let them do that. I don't set people up, okay? That's something I will not do, because I'm here to build the business. So we talked about that. Okay, I just want to kind of run through my notes here. Now, let me kind of share another thing that's important here. So we're working basically off the kit here. And so let me kind of guide you here and share my boards here to kind of share how I do this and why it's important to work with the newest person and take your business over. So let me kind of walk you through. I don't know if you can see this. I apologize. The light's bad in here. Let me hang on, because the sun's going down. Let's see if this works. I don't know if you can see this. I apologize. You can't see that, guys. Hey, Ryan, can you see this or not?
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, yep, it's coming through nice.
All right, thanks. So understand, you know, I'm bringing some people in. I've got Elmer here. I've got my daughter, Devin, who's 2 away from being a 600. Hopefully we'll get her there this week. She'll be at the Visionary 600. Working with Janice here, and with Bach, with Scott, with Steve over here. The people that are circled here are people that I'm actually working with that are actually stepping up to the table here, okay? This is one of my teams right here. Today we did a call with Janice, who I've known for 25 years, to a guy named Doug, who's made 7 figures in this industry, lives out in Florida, who brought on a gal named Nancy, who we did a 3-way call with today with Ryan and Jolene. She's made upwards of $73,000 per month in another network marketing company with products. She's now kind of looking for something else, and she just indicated today, after an hour conversation with Ryan and Jolene and I and Doug, she's excited about getting on board, and we're going to actually work with her because she's got a guy named Dion here. But the point is that I'm going to basically work depth here, okay? So when Janice invited Doug on a Zoom call, this was done about a week and a half, maybe 3 weeks ago, yeah. Doug came on a Zoom call and he listened to me, and then he kind of blew me off for several weeks. He wouldn't return my calls or my emails or my texts, and I'm pretty relentless. And finally he calls me up this past week, I think it was Friday. He says, "Al, this is Doug." I said, "Hey, Doug, how you doing?" "Oh, good. Listen, hey, can you do the Zoom call right now? I got someone on the," and all of a sudden he just comes off the top. "Can you do a Zoom call right now? I happen to be home, so I could do it." Yeah, so I did a Zoom call for Nancy, and then she brought on a guy named Dion. I didn't even know who they were. All I said was that they were big players, and he's excited about sharing this with them. So I did that, and now we've got Nancy involved. But the point is, I didn't wait for Janice here to go ahead and follow up and follow through. I took the initiative, okay? And you need to do the same thing if you want to build a team, okay? Why would I wait for Janice? Janice, during this first call on the Zoom with Doug, immediately at the end of the call, I said, "Okay, Doug, I'm going to work directly with you," okay? And Janice heard that. "I'm going to work directly with you. I'm going to help you if you decide to come on board and do this thing." "Okay, Al, great." Boom. Now I'm his next best friend, along with Alexander, right? Think about that. So now I took the initiative. Janice is doing her thing, and now I'm working with Doug, and now I'm going to work with Nancy. I'm going to do exactly the same thing with Nancy. And then I'm going to work with Dion, and we're going to build this out here. I'm going to work depth here, okay? I'm doing it here with Jason here. He's a Chinese friend of mine who brought in another Chinese lady named Irene, and then I sponsored a guy named Robert. He's a financial advisor for Primerica. He's on board with me. And I'm taking Scott here, my good friend of 25 years, and I'm building this out here. We just got in a new guy. Here's another guy. He's a financial advisor. He's also in the Forex market. And so I'm going to be working with Shane here. So I'm going to drill these down, okay? Here's another team I have. Okay, this is my other leg, one of the other legs. Luis right here, Sean, and basically introduced me to his dad, Big Al. I've done quite a few Zooms with him. Just did one yesterday, I think it is, working with his son, Landon. And I basically met Matt Joyce through Al here, okay? and Matt turned me on to Levi and Morgan, married couple, very nice guy. We did a Zoom call. He introduced me to Seth, okay? And then I did a Zoom call with Seth. He put together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people on a Zoom call a few weeks ago. And we were able to bring in his mom, Julie, who's a networker and loves network marketing, and his father, who's a pastor, okay? So now I'm gonna be working with them here, okay? So my focus point when I look at this here is to help Luis and everybody else out. I'm gonna work depth here. I see a vein of gold through here, if you will. You see that? And I'm gonna work it. I'm gonna keep working depth here and work it out. Same as with Jim right here, Jim Webb, good friend of mine for many, many years. And he's got Greg Adair over here. His kids are Mia, Michael, and Justine. He introduced me. Well, he's got Michael, his son, and then Dr. K. A lot of you have heard of Dr. K. Okay, she loves this business, and I'm working with her and her team here. We brought in a guy named Josh Bezo here, and we had a nice conversation with Ryan and Jolene. And here's another thing I want to share real quick, is that understand that I'm not doing this on my own, neither should you. Anytime you feel uncomfortable or you need some assistance or help, or you want to invite someone into a Zoom call to introduce, I do that all the time with Ryan and Jolene if they're people that are 6 or 7 figure income earners, okay? I'm gonna bring them in. I want them to meet our global directors. That's important, okay? And you guys that are new at this, if the person that brought you in isn't, maybe they're brand new too, and the person's brand new, you need to know who your upline 600 is or 1500 is or global director is. You know who they are, of course, Ryan and Jolene. And you need to communicate with them directly, not with the person that just brought you in, okay? You need to communicate with Alan Delaney or Hernan Lawless or myself, people that are building this and are serious about this. And there's other people involved, not just us, but I'm just saying as an example. But you need to take it upon yourself, take the initiative, and you contact that person upline and say, I need help, or I've got someone I want to share the business with, can you help me? Don't just sit idle and sit and say, okay, well, I'll just wait, I guess. I don't know, we'll just see what happens. Well, nothing's gonna happen. You've got to take the initiative because the support is there. There's nothing better than for one of us leaders to get a call from someone on our downline, like Jay called me the other day. I'll explain who he is. I did a Zoom call for Kristen, and then Jay was on it, and then he called me several days later. Say, Al, I want to go ahead and build this now. I said, okay, great, boom. So we've already done a Zoom call for him, and I've got a planning session with him to get him started the correct way here. So what I'm saying is that you got to take advantage of your upline support. If you're not doing that, shame on you. Really, I'm serious. So looking back here, I'm going to work depth here. I'm working with Adam. You got a guy named Daniel here who should be on the call here tonight. I did a Zoom call with him the other day with 4 people, okay? And now we're gonna basically, I'm doing the follow-up with these people. I'm actually taking the initiative with Daniel here because I think he can bring in 3 pretty quick here with respect to this call we did just the other day. So again, my concentration is where the blue lines are right here with Jessica underneath Lee, okay? His daughter, Jessica. My goal is to get her software for free. So Lee and I are working together here. Brought his daughter in. I want to help her get her 3, get him another 2 here. Dr. K is almost at 600 right now. And you can see right here, I'm working depth here. So in each of my organizations, I'm taking 3 legs here and I'm working depth. Boom. Here's Greg Adair over here, okay? The last one I'll share is this. This is my other leg. Simon Jacoby introduces me to Victor. He's only 21 years old, okay, up in Northern California. He's really doing well. He's almost a 600, almost. He's just right on the cusp right now. Someone brought in Blair up in Canada, and then Simon brought in Paulo, and then Victor introduced me to Matt Herbert, okay? Matt loves our software. He's killing it with our software. And I had a conversation with him. I said, Matt, I want to help you with this. You want to build it? Yeah. Okay, great. He works long hours at a nutrition store. I said, Matt, let's put together a Zoom call. So he called some people up, and he was on his cell phone, actually. Son, hang on. He was on his cell phone at work while I was doing the Zoom call, checking people out at the at the nutrition store. But this goes to show you, you can do it anytime any time of the day if you really want it that bad. Well, this guy wants to build it, okay? So he introduced me to some people here. I was introduced to TJ, and I told, at the end of my Zoom call with Matt, with TJ, so I told TJ, I want to work directly with you and help you build this. Would you like to get your software for free? Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's in the Army, so he calls me sir. I love that. And so I've done, I don't know how many Zoom calls. Hey, TJ, are you on the line right now? Can you unmute yourself?
Here, hold on, Al. I'll need to unmute him, but
I'm sorry.
He is here. That's okay. Let me get to him right here. All right. Let's see.
Taylor. Yeah.
All right, TJ, you're live.
Gentlemen, what's going on?
Hey, brother. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, Al?
Good. So how long ago did we meet on a Zoom call?
I'm sorry?
How long ago did we meet on a Zoom call?
It probably wasn't even a month ago. I'm going to say about three and a half weeks ago.
Okay. And on that, when I said I was going to help directly, did I follow through with you?
Absolutely. Every day, every step of the way.
Okay. So let me ask you something. You want to get your software for free. How many Zooms have you and I done together?
I'm going to say we've probably done about 7 Zooms thus far.
Okay. And you've already got 3 in, right?
Correct.
You got Jeremy, Aaron, and Kyle in right now. And now you're getting your software for free, which is step 1. And now we're going to help them get their 3 or bring some other people in the mix and get you to 600, right? That's the goal.
Correct. That's a goal.
Let me ask you something, because there's a lot of new people. There's a lot of new people right now listening that are brand new. And some people kind of might get a little discouraged after calling a few people to get them on a Zoom because they're getting some no's. No, not interested, not interested. Let me ask you, how many people have you actually, or said no to you before you were able to bring some people on board?
Al, honestly, I've talked to probably about 20 serious applicants thus far. And I'm going to tell you, I've had nobody actually say no to me. It's always, I'm 100% interested. But, obviously with the pandemic and, certain things going on, people are kind of just, proceeding with caution. They want to take a step back and be like, okay, let me think about it for a little bit. I'm definitely interested, but all I like to do personally with me, I've been in the military 8 years. I was in the Marines for 5 years and now in the Army. And, I'm working around people every day. So it's so easy for me once I gain the knowledge to simply just plant the seed, and I know Mike Herber's on this call as well. We used to work together actually, which is my background in fitness and health. And we talk to people every day. So, when you're selling something, it's so easy just to plant the seed, so, I'm not, trying to sell to anybody or, just get them, trying to get, my commission or whatever. I'm just saying my goal is to plant the seed for those people. So that's something that's worked for me. And I think just planting the seed and talking to them, by trying to help them, instead of trying to, get a sale or, whatever, it's always helped me. And just by speaking the knowledge, they have, found a great interest in further pursuing, for, their income.
Fantastic. So one last question here. We're doing Zoom calls now. You see it's working for you, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
You're getting people in and there's
Yes.
excitement. You're saving some money now on your software, which is outstanding. You're going to be making, pretty soon we're going to get you at $7,800 extra a year, just at 600. Everybody can use an extra $78 a year. So when we look at this diagram here, and how much effort and time do you think you put into this, really, realistically?
During the day, usually I'm putting about, just simply a couple hours of work, but, it's all throughout the day, nonstop. If I stop and have a conversation with somebody, it's like, boom, I'm working 24/7 at this, and I have a second business in the fitness industry. So it's like, I'm passing that on to them. I'm going to be constantly, multiplying my knowledge, with anybody that I can. So I'm working nonstop. It's a 24-hour job if you want to look at it that way, if you want to be successful, So whether, I'm talking to old friends that have never heard about this before, whether I'm talking to guys at work, out in the field, whatever it is, is if I can spread that knowledge to somebody, I'm working nonstop,
And you and I had discussions before a Zoom call. We always get on about 5 minutes before so I can learn a little bit about who the prospect is we're going to talk to. And you already got your notepad. I said, take notes, listen to my presentation. So one thing about TJ, guys, is that he takes notes. He's an avid note taker. And he's learning the process. He's learning the right way to do this. Okay. So thank you, TJ. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Al. Thank you, guys.
Okay. So that's one of the guys there. And then I've got Kristen here under Matt, who I'm working with right now. And we just brought in Jay. Okay, he's brand new, and I've got a get start session with him tomorrow. And I'm going to kind of show him the proper way to get started. And we're going to go after his 5 top people. Once again, same thing over and over. Get them started with our welcome kit, right? And then over here on the other side here, now Matt's really doing well. He's got a nice little organization here. He's almost at 600, almost. And we've got Brianna, Jordan. Hey, Jordan, can you, Ryan, can you unmute Jordan here? Jordan, his last name's a T.
Yeah, let me click across and
Thank you.
locate him here. Give me 1 second.
The reason I'm doing this, folks, is because both these guys have never built an organization in network marketing before. This is all brand new to them. This is all foreign. But because of the system that we have, okay, and the proper follow through, they're getting success. They're having success in a few weeks here, just involved.
Let's see, Jordan, are you labeled as iPhone? Otherwise, I don't see him, Al. I'm trying to click through here.
Let me look here. You said it'd be on.
Unless his Zoom is labeled maybe something different.
Jordan, can you hear us? Or you won't. Okay, well, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if he's on.
Hey, Matt, Hubert, if you're listening, can you get a call out to Jordan and see if he can get on? In the meantime, I'm gonna move on. Thanks, Matt. So with this said, folks, once again, I'm basically looking at this and I'm taking it down here under Victor here and under Matt now, and I'm gonna be working with Jordan, who's only 20 years old, by the way, okay? He's in the armed forces, and working with TJ, who's in the Army, okay? And see, I'm just kind of working depth, right? And over on this side over here, this is Clint, okay? And now Clint's got his girlfriend in here, Gian, and then he's really working depth right here, which is really strong here. I'm working with Elliot over here, who's brand new, who Naomi just brought in. Okay, so you can see the dynamics here. One leg there going deep, another leg here going deep, and then we're getting Kenny started here. But that's the key. We're able to get a hold of him or not? No? Okay, that's fine. So I just wanted to share that here's the thing. With TJ, would I rely on Matt to go ahead and take over? Once he introduces me to TJ, I took the initiative and said, okay, I'm going to work directly with you, TJ, because Matt works full-time, lots of hours, and he's never built anything like this before. So why would I rely on him to get TJ started? It wouldn't make any sense. And why would I rely on TJ to get his other people started, right? I want to initiate myself and say, let me help you. And that's the best thing I can do for everybody upline, because everybody wins by that. And I'm going to take them down 20 deep. Each leg is going to go eventually 20 deep. After we do that, it's going to start to fatten up and mature. And those people that might have one big leg down because we're drilling depth, they're going to figure out that they better get on the high horse and start learning this so they can build their other 2 teams, because there's going to be a lot of money sitting on the table that they could otherwise be earning, but because they didn't plug in, you know, and here's the cool thing about the comp plan, folks. It doesn't really matter, you know, to us. It's all based off points. So I can have one leg in each of my, if you will, each of my legs here, one giant leg, okay? And just with customers and affiliates, and as long as the points are there, I can get to 10K or Icon 10K, 25, Icon 25, just in sheer numbers, right? So if you don't understand that, you've got to know that. That's very important to understand. Okay, we're about finished here. Let's see, is there anything, hang on. Okay, so I kind of went through, I think, a little overtime here. Sorry about that. But are there any questions right now with respect to getting people started here? I kind of just gave you an overview quickly here, but it works. The guy that taught me this, his average check was $175,000 a month. That was 20 years ago. So it still works today. And again, the key here is going after the highest quality people you can possibly bring to the table. That's so much easier to work with people like TJ who get it and who are following through and following up just like we're asking them to do. It's going to work. It's easier to work with people like that. Are there any questions?